I am so excited for the World Cup. I'm buzzing. It only happens once every 4 years. It's in America, Canada, and Mexico this year. It's going to be so, so good. But Americans who don't really watch football or soccer, as you guys might call it, you might not understand just how big a deal the World Cup is. The World Cup, I think the final is the most watched thing on TV, like I think that happens regularly. Like, as you can see, 1.5 billion people watch the World Cup final. That's like almost a quarter of the entire population of the earth. I think only about 300 million people or 400 million watch the Super Bowl. So we're talking like almost 4 times as many people. Guys, it's gonna be so good.
5 billion people watched the last World Cup final between Argentina and France. This year's Super Bowl did 125 million.
Is that all? I thought it did more than that. Wow.
So just to match one World Cup final, you would need 12 Super Bowls.
Wow.
And with the next World Cup being hosted by the US, I think it's the perfect time for me to explain how the World Cup works. Because if you didn't grow up around soccer, it could get a little confusing. Countries, groups, qualifiers, knockout rounds, extra time, penalty shootouts, people crying in the stands like their life depends on it. Allow me to explain. Imagine if they made like an NFL All-Star US national team, and that team went on to compete with other countries that are very good at that sport as well, and some could be even considered better than the US team. Of course, that would never happen to American football because it's only played in the US. But the easiest way to explain it is to think about the Olympics. Countries competing, flags everywhere, national pride, and the whole world watching. But instead of competing in many different sports, it's all about one sport. And that sport happens to be the most popular one in the world. Soccer, or football outside the US. And there's a reason why soccer is considered the global sport. It has fans everywhere, in the big cities, the tiny towns, the rich countries, the poor countries. Whether people like to watch or to play, they don't need expensive gear to play. They don't need helmets. They don't need a perfect field. They can play barefoot and use 2 flip-flops as goals. And anything round that kind of looks like a ball
You can
become
use
a ball.
I'm really excited because I think it's going to raise the profile of football in America. It's already getting big. The MLS is, compared to 10 years ago, the MLS is so much bigger. But I think this is going to take it even higher.
Have to be tall like in basketball. You don't even need to be the fastest or the strongest, because soccer is all about technique. The rules are simple. There aren't any language barriers. And ever since the first World Cup in 1930, the whole world fell in love with soccer. And soccer players became the world's superstars. The world's most followed person on Instagram is actually Cristiano Ronaldo with over 600 million followers. And you have Messi with 500 million. While the most followed athlete in the US is LeBron James with 157 million.
Wow, big
While
difference.
the GOAT of American football, Tom Brady, has around 15 million followers. I think you get my point. I'm just saying all of this so that you can understand the magnitude of just how big and important the World Cup is.
I just wish that the tickets weren't so expensive. Like, I took a quick look at how much the tickets are, and the cheapest tickets for a World Cup game in the US are like, $300-400. It's like, what?
So you combine the most popular sport on the planet and all of the best players in the world playing not for money, but to represent their country. The World Cup is all about passion. And what makes it even more special is that it doesn't happen every year. It happens every 4 years. And these players have the responsibility to represent millions of people at the highest level of competition. And that's exactly why people are crying on the stands. But there's one aspect of soccer that changes everything. The favorites don't always win. All you need
There's
is
always
one
upsets.
tiny mistake, one counterattack, one deflection, one penalty to change the entire game. So underdogs have a real chance, like in the last World Cup. In the first game, Saudi Arabia actually beat Argentina.
No! It's all gone wrong!
Like, isn't that crazy? Like, Argentina, who went on to win that World Cup, Saudi Arabia, who on the world stage are just frankly nowhere in football, beat Argentina. Like, that kind of upset, nobody saw it coming. It would have been like something like 1,000 to 1 for Saudi Arabia to beat Argentina.
This is absolutely insane! The Saudi flags are out! Saudi Arabia 2, Argentina 1.
And beat Germany and also beat Spain, two multi-world champions. Morocco made one of the greatest underdog runs in World Cup history, becoming the first African nation to ever reach a World Cup semifinal. And that's what makes soccer so special, because the
Anything
game
can
is
happen.
so unpredictable.
Yep.
The best doesn't always win. Combine that with representing your country, you get the World Cup. So in 2026, the World Cup will be hosted in the US, Mexico, and Canada.
I wonder though, what are they going to do about the games because of the time difference? Like the games in LA, you know, if a game's at like 7 p.m. in LA, that's like 2 a.m. in the UK. Oh man, that time difference is brutal.
48 national teams and about 104 matches. The host country is automatically qualified for the World Cup. So the US, Mexico, and Canada have a guaranteed spot, while everyone else has to earn their
qualify.
place through qualifying rounds. And in soccer, the world is split into 6 confederations: Europe, Africa, Asia, North Central America, South America, and Oceania. So between every 4 years when we have the World Cup, these countries play against the other countries inside their region. By the way, this is going to be the biggest World Cup so far, because this is the first time we're going to have 48 teams in total. Until the last World Cup, we had 32 teams.
Dude, the atmosphere in this country, any Americans who like the vibe in your country when the World Cup starts is going to be different to anything you've seen before. I promise you. The World Cup has this magical quality to it that it just changes the vibe of a country. It's kind of like how the Olympics is, but I would say, I would honestly say the World Cup is bigger than the Olympics. I think it is.
And these are the countries that have qualified. In 2026, the World Cup starts with 12 groups of 4 teams. And each team plays 3 group stage matches. So the US will play Paraguay, Australia, and Turkey. And I think the US is going to be first in that group, but only if it can beat Turkey. So every win, you get 3 points. If you have a draw, each team gets 1 point. And if you lose, of course, you get 0 points.
Man, I really hope America does well. Who's the captain of the American team? Is it Pulisic, right? Pulisic. How's he? I think he's playing quite well, isn't he? He's at AC Milan, I think.
So if the US wins all 3 games, they're going to have 9 points. And whoever has the most points are going to be higher up on the table. And the 2 best teams of each group will qualify for the knockout matches, basically the playoffs. However, this year you're also going to have the 8 best third place teams also move on. Remember I said FIFA increased the number of teams that are participating? And that's why the group stage got a little bit more complicated to explain. And also we got one more knockout round. So that's why the top 2 teams move on, and also the 8 third best places are also going to move on to the playoffs. How are they going to decide the 8 third best? By points. Remember, we have 12 groups, but we're only going to have 8 third places move on. But what if they have the same amount of points? Then it's decided by superior goal difference in the group stage, followed by the highest total goals scored, and then fair play points, like whoever got the least yellow cards and red cards in the group stage. And then last, if all of that is still tied, whoever's ranked higher on the FIFA ranking, not on the group stage, but the overall general FIFA ranking, that's the team that's going to advance to the knockout rounds. And then from there, it's playoff time. Games can no longer end in a tie. They're going to go to extra time, and then eventually, if it's still tied, they're going to go to penalty shootouts. And then if you want to be champion, you have to go through 5 rounds of playoffs. The round of 32. The round of 16, and then you have the quarterfinals, the semifinals, and then finally the final.
Man, imagine if the final is USA versus England. Oh my God. It would be incredible.
If you lose any of those games, you're out. You can be the best team of the entire tournament, but then you get to the final, you have one bad night.
That's it.
It's over. To me, the big favorites to win are either Spain, France, Brazil, England, Argentina, Germany, and even Portugal.
If I had to put money on it, I think, if I have to be brutally honest, as much as with England winning it would be epic. I mean, epic. If I'm putting money on it, it's probably going to be France. It's going to be France. I think it's going to be France. It's France, Argentina, or Spain, I think.
As I said, soccer is completely unpredictable.
It
In
is.
2018, Croatia made it to the final against France. So although it's hard, the US has a chance. And if you haven't watched that much soccer in your life, the World Cup is the perfect opportunity. Don't get caught up on the score. I know many Americans can't comprehend the fact that you watch a game for 90 minutes
And it finishes
ends
0-0.
in a tie. Sometimes 0-0.
Yeah.
But soccer's not about scoring all the time like in the NBA. It's about being unpredictable and knowing that anyone can score or anything can happen
At any
and the
time.
whole history of that game is changed. I know I'll be rooting for Brazil, but also for the US. And I can't wait for June 11th because every World Cup that I watch is engraved in my memory forever. It runs for a little bit more than a month, but it gives you the opportunity to experience crazy moments. Moments that you won't ever forget. And that's why I make sure to watch every single game from every country. And I'm 100% sure if you give it a real chance, you're gonna fall in love with it. And that's why you should subscribe to my channel, because I'll be making a lot more content like this. And I'll
Oh boy. Guys, I'm buzzing. So excited. Wow, it's only 6 weeks away. Not long to go. I'm telling you, the energy, when you start seeing all of the different nationalities in your cities in America and Canada and Mexico and how happy they are, the good vibes they're going to bring, you know, the money they're going to spend on tourism, you'll see why the World Cup is for me the biggest. I mean, it's between the World Cup and the Olympics. Like I said earlier in the video that the World Cup is bigger than the Olympics. Maybe they're about even. Maybe they're even. The only reason why I think that it might be is because there's a lot of countries that just, you know, because they don't have many athletes at the Olympics, they won't watch the Olympics. Whereas football is just watched by basically every country. Every country watches football. Man, it's going to be so good. Americans, Canadians, Mexicans, it's going to be amazing. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe and check out the video I'm going to link right here. See you there.